talk about delivery models. Venkat, I also heard of something like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and of late you could listen to storage as a service, backup as a service, disaster recovery as a service. So X as a service. What actually is this? This is about control versus the price. Control, or more control you want on your applications. As you need more control, your overhead increases. The number of tasks you wanted to maintain will increase. Versus less control you have, less overhead it is, but you have to pay more money. So it all depends. But yes, if infrastructure as a service being the very basic infrastructure as a service, software as a service will be the best simplified method as of now. So in infrastructure as a service, you get a more control. You wanted to have Windows operating system, you will get it. You want Linux operating system, you will get it. In the firewalls, you wanted to block something, you can do it. You want, instead of IaaS, you need Apache web service, you can get it. Instead of .NET, you wanted to develop applications with Java, you can do it. You want your on-premises Active Directory to be integrated with Azure or AWS, so the SSO can be implemented, you can do it. You just can do anything. That's more, a better way to handle the cloud. That's the trend, in fact, today, because almost every company is having their traditional data centers. So from the traditional data center, that the organizations are moving to the cloud. So for time being, when they have the coexistence of on-premises and the cloud, they surely need an integration that is nothing but a VPN connection or a direct connection, having a private connection. And they also want their existing on-premises Active Directory users to authenticate to the cloud as well, because they cannot create identities in the cloud again. As the time progresses, I believe everything gonna take shape of software as a service. But I don't know whether it is gonna take 2 years or 5 years or 10 years for everything to become software as a service. Best example, a couple of years ago, you see, if your organization need an email capability, email functionality, you're just gonna host Exchange or Lotus Notes. Lotus, most popularly Exchange services. So how much of our admin efforts are involved, right? But now you see, you just getting Office 365 from Microsoft. Over the cloud, the email functionality is delivered to the customers, and it is CAL-based licenses, meaning based on the number of users you have in your organization, you just buy the license. That's PaaS model, platform as a service model, much simplified. You do not have to handle your Exchange servers. There are again roles like Edge server, Mailbox server, right? You'll have to look at the purging of the logs, then you'll have to look at the database high availability, server level availability. Then starting Exchange 2K10, we have the DAGs, database availability groups, to provide the redundancy, and later we have always on clusters, ensuring different other things. But yes, essentially a control versus the simplification of the administration activities is what traded between infrastructure as a service to the software as a service. Per se, Facebook, you did not, if software, Facebook is being delivered as a service to us, so we connect facebook.com and use that as a service. Whether it is free or paid, it's a different story, but yes, that is being delivered as a service to us. If the Facebook is developed using Java, and you say, hey Facebook, I don't like Java applications, I want you to develop it in .NET, are they going to do it for us? No, you don't have control over it. It is delivered to you as a service, you just use it, that's all. And whatever the customization is allowed, you better do it, but you cannot ask them to do it on .NET. And if it is hosted on a Linux environment, and you cannot ask them, hey, please change it to Windows environment. They don't do it. It is outside your scope. Okay, so that's more of a software as a service delivery model. You don't have a choice. You don't have control in customizing any of the components involved. But if you go to platform as a service, let's say you've got a wonderful team of developers. They can develop applications in Java. They're a wonderful team. But you don't want to maintain the infrastructure. You don't want to maintain servers, networking, virtualization, middleware, any of it. You just need a development environment where your team can connect to, compose the code, compile, check the errors, and deploy the application. But you don't want to maintain the underlying infrastructure. Then say, hey AWS, hey Microsoft, hey Google, I need a Java runtime environment. I need a Java development environment. Just provide it to me. They are ready to do it. And let your developers to develop an application similar to Facebook with a customization of your choice. But you can do customization at the middleware or with the programming language that you choose to, or functionality of the application. But if you wanted to control the underlying components, maybe they are using Cisco networking device and you want them to change Juniper networking, you have no control because you opt to platform as a service. If you need Java or .NET or Python or Node.js or React.js, whatever the development environment that you need, they will give it to you. But not the underneath components you have control over. If that is your preference, better go to infrastructure as a service offering where you will get that control. So, if you wanted to integrate your on-premises with Azure by VPN connection, with AWS or Azure with VPN connections, you can do that. You want a Windows or a Linux machine, you can make a choice. It's up to you. You wanted to customize something within the operating system, you can do it. So it's more of a virtual data center that you are going to design and implement in the cloud. It is more of a virtual data center that you are going to get in the cloud. And that is what AWS Certified Solution Architect, System Operations Administrator, Azure 104 certification, that is Azure Admin, or Google Certified Cloud Architect. These certifications are designed around infrastructure as a service delivery model. Okay, and then in on-premises, everything that you have will be maintained by your organization. Of course, there are different teams, but essentially you will handle everything. And that concludes the delivery model, the 4 delivery models we have: software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and on-premises. In infrastructure as a service, you have more control. As you have more control, you have got more admin activities, more overhead you have. And in software, you have very less control, so no overhead. You just use it, that's all. In between, PaaS.